This is coming directly from a guy who calls himself Yossi Rainier, or Rainer. We are leaving our luxurious penthouse in Beit Shemesh and moving to live on an isolated farm by the Jordan Valley.
I've seen this guy and his wife and their kids. I saw the clip. I saw like a post of this. Yeah.
Near a hostile, Colin, scroll too quick. Near a hostile Palestinian village. I am writing this sentence and still struggling to believe that it is real. All my life, I read about Zionism, about settling the land, about the self-sacrifice of the settlers and the 11 points that went up on the ground in one night in 1946, about the pioneers of the past, about people who left everything and dedicated themselves to a vision, about settling the land of Israel, not in words, but with hands and feet. I was moved, and the feeling always lingered in me that I too wanted to be a part of this wonderful thing, not just to talk about Zionism, not just to be moved by other people's stories, but to get up and do it. And now we have decided to stop reading that history and start writing it. After a lot of thoughts, doubts, and late night conversations, my wife, Esty, and I made a joint and courageous decision that will change our lives. Both of us have obtained weapons licenses. We are leaving our luxurious penthouse in, how do you say it, Jen?
I'm not sure. I didn't know you were going to yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Colin, keep going, I guess. I was just going to say, I had an article about how they're using settlers to do the pogroms, which would have, yeah.
Do you think that would be better to do first? I can pull this so we could jump to that.
No, we're already more than halfway through it. Just continue.
In Beit Shemesh, parting from the family that enveloped us from the amazing community, from the friends close to us, giving up the short commute to my job in Jerusalem, and packing up our lives on the way to a new place. Where are we moving to? To an isolated farm in unplowed land near a hostile Palestinian village.
And I hope you get dead somehow. I hope you and your stupid wife and your ugly inbred children get dead somehow. I do.
We will only be the second family to arrive and live there.
Oh, good. Better chance you'll get dead.
Yeah, you kind of stick out like a sore thumb, and you also get blinded in the sunlight. This farm is a real line of containment that stops the enemy's takeover of area. They're going to stop the takeover, Jen. That's what they're going to do. Of the land of Israel around the village. When we visited the farm, we realized that on the site itself, there are abandoned structures built by Palestinians before the farm owner arrived at the place. We are coming there to settle the land with our bodies. Good. To build a home, raise our children, guard the land, and create a reality that will not allow in the future the establishment of a Palestinian state in the heart of the land of Israel. Are they fucking insane? Actually, yes, they are. Jen, would you mind?
Well, I mean, there was a much shorter, people are kind of, I am not fooling myself. This will be a complex journey. Esty may need to find a new job. We will need to find four-year-old light and quality value-based. I don't know what that means. We will distance ourselves from friends, from community, from stores, from the roads, from the comfort we have grown accustomed to. We will exchange the familiar sense of security for a life in which security responsibility is part of the routine. Yes, and how convenient that you get weapons and the other people don't. Isn't that convenient?
Very.
How nice. Seems really like a fair fight. We have no doubt that there will be not so easy moments. There will be fears. There will be difficulties. Probably there will also be days when we miss our home in Beit Shemesh and the life we had. But our heart is whole. We're fulfilling a huge dream, a dream for our children. I hope you all end up dead. We want our children to grow up knowing that values are not just beautiful sentences taught in school. Values are the choices you're willing to make. Yes, you're teaching your children to be genocidal lunatics. That's great. And the price you're willing to pay for them is what you believe in. We are setting out on a family Zionist value-driven mission. It will be challenging, sometimes perhaps even tough, but I know that every morning when we wake up there, every tree we plant, which will not be indigenous and will die, by the way, because you're fucking morons planting trees that can't grow there. But every light we turn on, every laugh of the children in the yard will be part of something much bigger than us. We don't know exactly what this path will look like. We only know that time has come to set out on it. Something new is beginning. Good luck. Hopefully good riddance. Bye-bye.
We hope.
But, and for people who do not know, and we don't need to necessarily, I didn't know you were doing this. So this is in lieu of that article is fine.
No, but I wanted to show this because this was something that really hits home because Colin has the articles, but Colin, can you pull up the image of this family?
Right. You want to see the
No. Go,
yeah.
This doesn't even look real.
No, I hope they all end up 6 feet under rubble. I do not care. They look like every other fucking Israeli family I've ever seen. Although they would need to have more kids to really have the full look. At least another dozen.
Well, maybe that's the plan. The plan is to have the farms.
Well, I mean, but the point is right now there are pogroms happening in the West Bank. And what happens is the IOF arms and uses settlers like this. So they just got their weapons licenses. So they're now able to have, now granted, they're using those against people that don't have weapons. Very, very tough. You're very tough.
Colin, pull up the
your ugly
Colin, pull up the West
faux fucking wig wife and your fucking ugly inbred children. Anywho, yeah, so the IOF is using them, the settlers, as militants to continue to be pushing these pogroms and basically torturing and terrorizing the Palestinians in the West Bank. And they use people like that who are so fucking stupid because they are expendable. Your own country doesn't even give a fuck about you.
Israeli settlers set fire to West Bank mosques after deadly clash. The attacks followed an incident Friday when 4 Palestinians and 2 Israeli soldiers were killed when a crowd of Israeli settlers approached a Palestinian village. Now, we did talk about this, but I know that we want to kind of highlight it, and I also have the Germany story as well.
That's a completely different subject, so I don't even know like what yeah.
So Israeli settlers attacked a Palestinian village in the occupied West Bank early Sunday, setting fire to 2 mosques and scrawling graffiti on buildings. The attacks followed an incident on Friday when 4 Palestinians and 2 Israeli soldiers, one of whom acted as a security. So this is a follow-up. My apologies. This is a follow-up to the story I covered on Saturday. The attacks followed an incident on Friday when 4 Palestinians and 2 Israeli soldiers, one of whom acted as a security coordinator for a nearby Israeli settlement, were killed when a crowd of Israeli settlers, some armed, approached the Palestinian village of Tal, southwest of Nablus. During the incident, villagers came out of their homes to confront the settlers, and a standoff ensued, with video appearing to show one of the Palestinians grabbing a settler's weapon. Palestinian local officials say the settlers provoked the violence. Well, of course. The Israeli military said shots were fired by both sides. Look at that.
Yes, I know. They've been, but again, this is not new. They've been doing this for 3 years. They've been doing it for 70 something. So this is not novel. They constantly destroy mosques, hospitals, schools. Like this is, I don't understand how, like why this is news, especially in Gaza.
Your turn, Jen.
The incident was the latest in a series of clashes this year involving settlers in which dozens of Palestinians have been killed and hundreds wounded, according to figures from the UN. Prime Minister ordered a major security operation against what he described as terrorism against Israeli civilians, reinforcing units in the West Bank and canceling leave. members of his government, including the far-right finance minister, have called for the annexation of the West Bank territory Israel captured in 67, right? And basically what we know, I don't need to read this, basically what we know is that they have now authorized, the Knesset has now authorized funding for an additional, I forget the number, somebody like 20, 30 more additional settlements in occupied Palestine. So all of the distraction is just, they're still just taking more and more land there. That's all they're doing, and further tormenting the Palestinians. So we do not need to read another article about this. Like, I thought that was the article we were going to cover about this. So I feel like I feel like we've covered.
You seem a little testy.
No,
Bindi,
I just feel like it's overkill. It's overkill.
okay. Bindi Boxer, the Palestinians were not armed, but one of the Palestinians disarmed one of the Israelis and then shot him dead.
Good.
That did happen. Now, I want to be fair. We want to be fair. Because
I don't want to be fair.
Well,
who says I want to be fair?
I understand. But we have to at least acknowledge the fact that there are Israelis in the streets trying to stop this. Obviously, it will not go anywhere because they are in a super minority in their own country. But this is what happens, guys, when you settle into a country that you don't belong in. Or you settle, excuse me, it's not even a country because it's not real. You settled into land that didn't belong to you. I sympathize that you're not violent sociopaths or psychopaths, but remember, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. Can we also point out the fact that this entire Hasbara propaganda that has been thrown at us for the past few years was always about Hamas? There is no Hamas in the West Bank. None.
Well, and I hate that sort of line of argument because I'm willing to say I don't care if there was Hamas all over the West Bank. Hamas exists because they're the resistance to the oppression. They didn't come first. This isn't like a chicken and an egg thing. We actually do know what order of events we're dealing with. Hamas exists as the resistance to the oppression. So even if they did exist in the West Bank, good. And I am so tired of somehow that being a talking point. Yes, I condone Hamas. I support Hamas. I root for Hamas. And the more Hamas, the better. That's what I think.
Until Israel is no more.
Exactly. They're not terrorists. They're just not. They're resistance to oppression. The terrorists are the oppressors. Why do we have this so backwards? The person with the boot on the neck is the oppressor. The person trying to get out from under the boot is the resistance. It's not complicated. The person who has the institutional power is the terrorist. The person who has no institutional power is the oppressed. I don't understand how this is complicated for anybody to see. That the unarmed people are the oppressed people and the armed people are the oppressors.
I think we're coming to terms with the American exceptionalism, the supremacy that has been indoctrinated in this culture for so long to the point at which people don't necessarily recognize it. But they recognize it with the Israelis. And what we're trying to get people to understand is that the hierarchy, which is all based on class, it's exemplified with this behavior. Now, as I said, I do sympathize with the Israelis that are trying to fight back. But the truth of the matter is, guys, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. and you know you don't belong there. There isn't this peace and harmony world.
I hope you all get melanoma. I hope you and your ugly wife and your children get melanoma. You deserve it. You do. Good luck.
Nothing good is going to come of that. Nothing. So it's, as we said, there's a reason why they're fleeing, at least the ones that have money. They're trying to get to Argentina. They're getting to Cyprus. They're getting to Greece. You know, Dimitri, who we're going to get back on the podcast, you know, he showed an image of apparently at the Greek at Greece's international airport in Athens, that apparently they have like some type of Israel advertisement in the airport. Like, this is what they're going to try to do. They're going to try and put their hooks into other places because they know that whatever that is that was created in Israel, or in Palestine that they created, it's on its way out. It's just a question of when. But they're going to try to go other places. We, as Americans, have an obligation to fight back against our tyrannical government and the Zionist state. That's our job.